In a quiet pub in southwest London, 3 well-known English food critics have come to take part in a taste-testing experiment to see if they can tell the difference between real meat and the plant-based alternatives.
Critics will be asked to identify which dishes use plant-based meat and which do not. Critics will be blindfolded, so their answers will be given completely based on taste.
Right. Thank you. The texture is really like chicken. But you know, I'm at this point, I just don't know. So I'm going to say veggie, just because that texture is a bit strange, but it could so easily be chicken. But I'm going to go veggie.
I also don't think it's chicken.
It's extremely difficult to tell. I would say, on balance, I think it's plant-based. I think to actually tell the difference between that and chicken shredded to that sort of scale, you could fool all of the people all of the time.
That's hard to spot. You could knock that out in a pub and no one would really notice. The texture is very beguiling. It makes it feel like mince and chew like mince, but it doesn't taste like mince. Definitely a very clever counterfeit or alternative, but it's not meat.
So yeah, I think vegetable.
I have a feeling that it might be meat. The texture, I think, is extraordinarily close to what a properly ground burger would be.
Yeah.
You could get away with this. It takes a lot of thinking about it to think, is this real, is it not? It's not as I expected at all. Thank you. This is the most difficult of all. I got a piece of gristle that had to go through a lot of work to make of it.
Put nothing past it, bastards.
I still think it's vegetable, but it's pretty damn near meat. I really pushed on that one, but I think it's vegetable just for the texture.
I don't think it's meat.
I'm tempted to say, to break ranks with my distinguished colleagues and say I think that could well be meat.
This gets more and more difficult. Well, I might say that it's real fish, actually. There we go. Live it. It could be. Okay, I'm going to go for real fish.
I agree. It's sort of really dissolved in my mouth. Yeah, it doesn't actually have as much texture as a fake fish. So yeah, I'm going to go with a real fish.
I agree with you. It has the softness of the natural fish. We may all go down together on this one, but I would say that's the real thing.
Putting on my. Yeah, I'd say left is not chicken and right is.
One of them is, it's right.
The right-hand one, I think it may be a chicken.
Maybe it is meat.
Yeah, this is very different from what I expected.
Woofty-doof. I must say, it's a really, I think it has been a really interesting.
Yeah. It's getting increasingly difficult to tell the difference between real meat and these plant-based alternatives.
Well, I confess, this has been something of a revelation to me. And I was astonished, really, how delicious virtually all of them were, but also how difficult it is actually to distinguish meat from plant-based.
I did not expect the quality and the difficulty in telling the difference between meat and non-meat, and really impressive that I just expected corn burgers we'd spot from a mile off, but no, this is advancing far faster than we might realise.
Oh yeah. I chose a plant-based diet for 2 reasons. The first reason was health and simplicity. When I was eating meat, I was always worried, am I gonna get sick? Is it cooked enough? is, it always felt weird, but you never think, after I eat this banana, am I gonna feel bad? You always feel good. I used to get sick every 3 to 4 months, like the average person I feel does. Like, oh, they got the sniffles and stuff. When I went 100% plant-based for a year straight, did not get sick one time. We have a plant-based household, so we had a party and we didn't tell anybody, but everything we had Beyond Meat, we had, plant-based everything, cheese, hot dogs, all plant-based, didn't tell anybody. And everybody was like, this is great. And then some people started to, wait, is this plant-based? Because we figured out how to make the taste the same. And I don't get it. If the taste is the same, and it's better for you, then why not go plant-based? It's ludicrous to me that people can't really see that. And it's better for the planet.
I'm pretty passionate about getting people on their journey towards veganism or just flexitarianism or more plants, and for me, I'm very passionate about allowing people to interpret it as works for them, and I've seen that with friends and family that over a couple of years they end up eating a 90% vegan diet when they never would have thought they would, but it's taken them that time to get there. But it is so important. And when I first started doing Delicious Yellow, I was a little bit nervous sometimes about kind of really standing up and saying, this is why I think it's important, and this is why I'm really passionate about what we do. But you look at it now and you just think, how can we not be? You read the study and you just think, okay, well, how on earth can I sit here when I'm lucky enough to have an audience to speak to and not let them know about this? Now, once you have the information, you can do with it what you will. And I think that's important. But we all have the right to have that information so that we can make choices that feel right for us about our future and the future of the planet for our kids and their kids and all the rest of it. And I just feel it is so incredibly important.
I think the growth of vegan food and recipes has been extremely influential on the vegan movement because people love food. They associate veganism with missing out on food and taste, and really that's not the case. You can eat everything you want to eat, but vegan, you can have all the tastes and more. If anything, I found that I experience even more amazing taste and appreciate the taste of things so much more now than before. There's a growth of vegan restaurants all around the world and they're cool, they're showing people how delicious vegan food can be. And that's probably one of the best ways to encourage people to make the change, I think.
Hi, my name is Omar McQueen. I'm 11 years old and I'm the founder and CEO of Dipalicious, my own company where I sell vegan snacks, meals, juices and the most amazing dips in the world. I started Dipalicious in 2017 when I was 8 years old, and with this business I could bring people together through food, and that's what my goal is. So make sure you listen to my rules.
The conversations surrounding meat consumption, all of these big, crazy ideas, are quite small if you apply them to your individual life. I can choose to make a change, a weekly change, of not consuming meat as much as perhaps I have in the past. And I think it's really important to recognize, no matter what areas of the world we live in, none of us are safe from the effects of climate change. We are literally all in this together. We have no time, we have no choice, and it's not that hard. It's really not that hard. We just have to get a little bit uncomfortable. But in order to be uncomfortable, we have to be willing to change some lifestyle habits. We have to be willing to assess the situation and adjust some patterns. We don't have to be there on every single front line. The front line starts in your home. The front line starts with your credit card. The front line starts with the decisions that you're making for yourself and your family. That's the greatest change that we can all make. And then once you start viewing and seeing and recognizing the small effect that you're making, you'll be eager to talk about it. That's how communities change. That's how great movements and great shifts occur. then just consider your choices for a hot minute, because that's the only way that we're going to change. It's the only way. We can think big and we can assume that somebody else will do it, but no one's going to do it if you don't do it. It's going to take all of us.